And we live and direct, fam. And look, man, look. I can't guarantee the time the stream gonna happen, but what I can guarantee is you gonna get that fucking stream. My schedule is just kind of like fucked right now in terms of like the way that I'm doing things. So sometimes I'm like, I gotta push the stream to later or earlier or whatever. But as I get used to things a lot more, at least in terms of what I'm doing my schedule with content and shit like that. Also, too, because I'll be dashing at different times right now because that's how I get my bread up right now. But so at least once it becomes a lot more stable, it'll be 6 p.m. usually is when I'll stream. But for now, bro, you're going to get that stream. You just don't know when you're going to get that stream, but you'll get that stream. So anyway, with that being said, we continue with our Tate, Nick, and Myron podcast. You know what I'm saying? So far, I've been pulling out a lot of important shit from that shit already. So we're just going to keep it cooking, keep it going. And yeah, man, so let's just get right into it, man. I don't want to waste you niggas' time. So let's make it happen.
Here's what I'll say on the stream. I still am. Because it's true that Tucker is getting torched by a lot of his erstwhile Jewish or pro-Israel allies. Yep. There's no question about that. And same with Candace Owens. Yep. Candace and Tucker, and to your point, just to demonstrate, because I think I'm objective and I think I'm magnanimous, I think that Candace and Tucker, you're 1,000% correct. They have brought a lot of people closer to the truth. There is just no question. Candace with,
which is why do fucking with them. You know what I'm saying?
The women, Tucker with the normies, and Candace with the normie women, I suppose, and you as well. I mean, but we're talking about them in this case, and you without a doubt as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe there's room for cooperation. It's like we said before, though. If that's sort of my perspective, I'm sort of coming to Candace to join up, but she's telling me you're a racist anti-Semite, and I'd like to cooperate with Tucker, but he's calling me a fed, and I'm this loser and all this. It's like, so I would extend the olive branch to someone like Tucker. And me, I have such a...
And as I already said, as y'all heard me say yesterday, the solution to all this bullshit is really, nigga, just talk to each other, bruh. Like, literally. You know what I'm saying? Just the thing with social media, everybody be like, it's over dramatic, basically. It's just like, all right, you niggas are on the same side. You just need to talk to each other, settle the differences, and move on, my nigga. But like, instead, what happens is you go hop on some other podcast, talk to niggas or talk shit about somebody, and it's like they're gonna see this and get mad and then make their own content about it, bro. This is just the way that social media be so gay sometimes, bro. There's so many misunderstandings.
Consciousness for the team. Me and Candace have a very vicious rivalry right now.
And what you even notice too, a lot of the times is like a lot of people on social media, like they're always going to be different when you actually meet them in person. At least I strive or go in and out of my way to be the same person on camera that I would be off camera. Like I always make sure, you know what I'm saying? Because I just think that's important. Like it allows people to trust you. Obviously, you guys already know I talk about integrity a lot. But like, yeah, it's like if you are who you are on and off camera, like it just makes people trust you. It gives you a lot of credibility, especially when you say things or you try to speak about important things. Like who is saying it often matters more than what is being said if we're being real. You know what I'm saying? For being real, it's who is saying it, And if you're a trustworthy, incredible person, people are just going to listen to you, even if you were to lie about something. But obviously, trust has to be earned. It's not given. But you guys get the point. Like, at least social media perspective, there's a lot of guys out there that are completely different on camera than they are in real life. But I would strive, and even if you want to get into content or be a content creator, you want to be the exact same person all the times, because then you don't have to like play two games. Because as I also always say, like it's impossible to keep a lie, because eventually your behavior is going to contradict, the lies that you're trying to maintain, and then you're cooked. So
for me, it is and I say this, my right hand to God. It is not personality driven. It is not ego driven. I could forgive her tomorrow. I've called her a bitch like 100 times. And I know you probably don't love that, but I've called her a bitch a bunch of times. I could apologize for that tomorrow.
I mean, it's kind of funny though. It's funny though.
and I could sit down and have dinner and be best friends tomorrow. The question is there that willingness on the other side to get on the same page? Is there that willingness to kind of open up the space for someone who is a little bit further to the right? I do believe that.
I get it. So I've got a question for the sake of our debate. So I would argue, and of course, once again, this is full of presuppositions. I'm just guessing here. I would argue that there's a degree of disingenuity when it comes to people saying that her Bridget series is not important or it's trash. And I think you made a clip on it. I didn't watch the whole clip, but you said something about how Macron is an enemy of Israel or something along these lines. And why is she going for Macron?
My fault, yo.
I truthfully, and I'm saying this from the heart, and I've only watched 2 episodes of her series. I haven't even watched the whole thing. And I didn't even watch your whole clip. But I don't see how anyone can not think that's good journalism and not think it's hilarious. I really don't.
I'm personally not familiar with this Bridget series that he's talking about. I don't really be watching Candace like that. I mean, I'll start to watch more. I just think it's important to at least watch people that you'll agree with every now and then to make sure that you're staying informed about shit. I think that's important, especially when you're on the same side as somebody else. It's good to stay informed about what they're doing, you know.
Think it's genuine for people to sit and say that series was a setup somehow and she's working for the Russians somehow and that she's somehow working for the Jews because she did that. And I think that it's people disliking her, so instantly tarnishing her work. And I think that it's very important for us as professionals to be able to sit down and say, even if my worst enemy, I can sit and say, I don't like that person, but that work was good. Like, I think Matt Walsh, by and large, is not even a bad person. I think he just has no impact on the culture at all. I don't think anybody cares what he says. But when I saw some of it,
well, it's just like kind of like, I mean, not at least not anymore. Like, these niggas are like so distant away from reality. It's annoying. And also, he works for the Daily Wire, so he works for Jews, which is obviously an issue. And is, as more time passes, is going to ruin his credibility ultimately. You know what I'm saying? Because nigga is working with the enemies, bro. I'm going to be real. So that's going to keep hurting his credibility. So, you know, I mean, I've never really watched Matt Walsh that much. Like I said, like when it comes to more of the political space and getting into politics a lot more, like I've really only gotten a lot more serious about it or being informed about it about 8 months ago is what I would say. You know, otherwise I wasn't really paying attention to it much. So, but I've heard of him before, like in the past and shit like that. But I've never really been updated in terms of his stuff and what he got going on. But I do know that nigga's basically what I'll call conservative. You probably heard me say that a bunch of times already now. But like he basically doesn't really know what the fuck's going on with modern women, but will speak on the shit as if he knows what's going fucking on. But he doesn't, because he's been married for a long time now, based off my knowledge currently. Like he's been married for a long time, has no clue how the hoes are moving now. But he'll speak on it as if he does, and it's annoying because it's like he'll say stupid shit due to ignorance. And also, like I said, he works for the Daily Wire, so he's under a Jew, and that's obviously an issue because that prevents him from speaking out against Zionism and Jewish supremacy and kind of what's going on with the whole Israel situation. So, yeah.
His clips when he was making fun of the trannies, it was funny. Like, you know, okay, cool. That's good work. Like,
yeah, but he still says, like, he still talks shit about liberals and leftism and shit, which, you know what I'm saying? That's cool. Ain't nobody got a problem with that. Ain't nobody fuck with the liberal shit, bro. So, like, that's cool. Like, I wouldn't have a problem with that for Matt Walsh, at least. It's just like the other shit that is kind of an issue. Like, because the Israel thing is a way bigger issue, is basically the point. So it's like, nigga, you need to talk about that. You could talk about that other shit too. It's funny, but like the Israel shit is way more important right now.
I don't care who makes the work if the work is good. And I know it's after your argument with her, everyone was saying that her Brigitte series was bullshit. I don't think it's unimportant, and I don't think it was bullshit. I think it was actually very informative, and I think it was quite an interesting story. And I think that if Macron is fucking his dad, we should know. And I also think that it's fucking...
I'm not really familiar with this, so we're just going to skip through just a little bit.
Fucking hilarious. Or
I mean, it's actually the opposite. I liked Candace last year, and I hated the Brigitte Macron thing. I just didn't say anything because I didn't want to mess with her thing. I'll give you a counterexample. She did an interview with Phil Turney, who's a survivor of the USS Liberty. I thought that was excellent. I thought that was brilliant. Got huge coverage. Totally drove the conversation forward. I could, you know, I'm objective. I'm honest. I tell it like it is. I do have a major problem with Candace right now, but that was awesome. And unquestionably,
based off my current knowledge at the current moment, the U.S. Liberty situation was basically the Israelis bombed like a U.S. I believe it was sub. But anyway, I could just search up right now. Hold on, just to make sure. So they're just going off. No, it's USS Liberty. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to show you guys too, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay. Wow, bada bang. So this was the incident that she was talking about. But basically, yeah. So basically, the USS Liberty incident was an attack on the United States Navy technical research ship, a spy ship, US Liberty, by Israeli Air Force jet fighter aircraft and Israeli Navy motor torpedo boats on the 8th of June, 1967, during the 6-Day War. So yeah, so obviously you can already tell by the implications of this, like this is a big J pill right here, a big red pill, and about how, is Israel really our ally? You know what I'm saying? This was a really big one. So that's kind of what they were referring to, or at least what Nick's referring to, that Candace had a guy who was involved in this situation during that time. So yeah, keeping y'all informed. You know what I'm saying? Gotta know what's going on. All right, let's keep it going.
So I'll tell you my issue with the Brigitte Macron thing. It's a couple of things. One, I think it's weird. I think it's weird that Candace is so hung up on the French president, because in America, we just don't really talk about Europe. We don't really care about Europe that much.
Which I can honestly side with that too. It's like, nigga, it's really at this point, bro, who gives a fuck about anybody who has nothing to do with the United States, bro? Like, just way bigger issues to deal with. But hey,
it's just not something we're engaged in. So for her to have this laser-like focus on that, to me, it kind of gives me a weird feeling from the beginning. Then you delve into kind of the history there, and for a long time, there's been an effort to go after Macron from this crew. Like, I don't know if you know, but back in 2017, there was this huge effort to say that Macron was gay, and that was being pushed by Russian media. It was being pushed by Sputnik and Russia Today. They were quoting Julian Assange. They leaked all Macron's email 2 days before the election in 17. So there's been, for like 8 years, this concerted campaign to attack Macron personally, call him gay, say he's married to his dad. So that's another thing, is like it comes back over and over again. Then you get into the person pushing this, the guy, Xavier Poussard. He wrote the book, Becoming Brigitte. This guy's crazy. Like, the guy that originated the theory, it's very fringe in France. He believes in the QAnon stuff. He thinks he's working for Trump. He thinks he's working for Putin. The guy's nuts. And when you get down into the actual information,
not really familiar. I'm sitting here, I'm learning too right now. Like, I'm not really familiar with this dude or who he's even talking about right now. So
at the end of the day, their proof is that there's a photograph of the person they say Brigitte is as a child, and using this Chinese facial recognition, it says there's an 80% match to Brigitte Macron today. And I don't think that's super good journalism. I think the evidence is flimsy. And I would say maybe there's something going on there. Maybe Brigitte Macron is weird or something. But to me, the evidence is very flimsy. So that's my problem with it. And the reason that I even call it out, why not let it alone? The reason I call it out is because, one, if it's an angle from Russia or some other thing, then that needs to be called out by itself. But two, I think it's so kooky, it just makes us look bad. I think it's one of those things where maybe people watch the USS Liberty show, but then if you're talking about aliens and secret transgenders and the Frankists and, space isn't real.
Oh, yeah, then this is like, nigga, what do you like? What happened? Right? You were on the ball and then kind of went off the ball. But I mean, hey, it's kind of like, I don't know. I kind of see it more like just she's doing her job. She's a conservative commentator. She's just going to talk about things, I mean, based off my current understanding of what I've seen, like, Fuentes at least has talked a lot about Israel, and that's his, like, one of the main things, or at least the primary thing that he's blown up off of, and he suffered for it. So, like, that's kind of the main thing, and it's the most important thing if we're being real. Like, that is really the most important talking point in politics today, I'll be honest, But I would say looking more towards Candace is kind of like, well, she's kind of like, not only talking about, because she only recently started talking about this shit. Like, she wasn't talking about it like as long as Nick has been talking about it, right? So she's been talking about it for so long. I mean, well, she hasn't been talking about it for so long. So it's kind of like she's always been talking about other shit. It's just kind of like, this is one of the new things. So, she's gonna keep doing what she's been doing, it seems.
It's like, then we just look like we're crazy. So that's the other thing. But it's actually in reverse of what you said. If I liked Candace, I would not talk about my problems with it at all. if we had a working relationship. But, you know, since we're at odds, I'm more willing to criticize her. So it's totally the opposite.
Well, perhaps this is just a personal preference thing, but I think it's extremely important if we find out that the leader of a European nation, especially the nation which just overthrew the election here, by the way, one of the most important economies on the planet, and Europe is by and large America's ally and will have to be against China for the coming decades. If there is an elite pedophile,
gotta just be carrying them niggas, bro. They bums, bro. Gotta be carrying them niggas, bro. In the UN, bro, we be donating all the money and shit. Like, bro, we just carrying them niggas, bro.
Ring, which is in charge of his
Russia got like fucking China and shit, bro. Like, we like, what the fuck, bro? It's just us.
country, especially if you want to tie this to Epstein and everything else, and the fact that Keir Starmer's gay and all these things, the fact that we have all these homosexuals in power, I think would largely affect the culture. And we just talked about how the culture is so important. I would argue that it doesn't make us look kooky for investigating that. Very much like you said, we need to, if there's smoke, there's fire. And, you know, if there's the timing is weird, or there's a string here, or there's a link there. I think that she did a fantastic job on the series, and I think it's pretty important. And I'm just surprised from a personal level, you don't find it hilarious that Macron's having a breakdown. I just thought that you would find it funny like I did.
Yeah, because I believe that Candace actually ended up getting sued for saying all this shit about Macron, which is funny. So, yeah. Hold on. Let's see if I can show you. I'm going to show y'all something. I'm going to let it play a little bit, though.
I saw the legal letters. Me and Tristan were laughing our ass off. It's funny. The same as Keir Starmer talking about me all day. I think it's funny these people get triggered. Maybe it's just me liking the underdog. Maybe it's just me liking that we have some degree of power to actually influence the emotions of these people who are suppressing us, especially in Europe so heavily. So I was just surprised by your take on that. And my conclusion in my mind was, he's pretending that's not good work when it's clearly hilarious because he doesn't like Candace. And you've given your answer, which I respect. I was just highlighting why I thought that was weird, because I actually thought that was a fantastic series. And I think if it turns out she is right, I think that's very important. I would argue that's extremely important. And I mean, right now we have the problem with Keir Starmer in the UK. He got caught fucking Ukrainian rent boys.
That's fucking
we're
wild.
Not allowed to say that. I'm about to catch another charge for saying that right now. I'm trapped in Europe. And perhaps maybe you're saying America first, and as America.
A little bit about just Macron real quick. I just want to show you guys so you know who they're talking about. Hold on. Right here. My boy right here. I'm going even. I don't know how Candace. I don't know what Candace actually thinks fully about bro, because I haven't, like I said, I haven't watched like her series on it, so I'm not like exactly familiar on the whole situation there. So I think it was that she believed that that his wife was born a dude. I think that's what it was. I think it was either the wife was born a dude. I think that's what it was. But yeah. He's the French president, pretty much. So anyway, we'll keep it going. All right.
We don't care. I'm in Europe. They're the ones throwing me in jail. They're the ones fucking with my life. They're the ones who are constantly watching everything I say. They're the ones watching this stream right now, trying to raise charges on me. And the Western world, by and large, is the same thing. I think that you even said earlier at the beginning of this that America was founded on European white heritage. So we don't want to lose the ancient countries.
Which is true.
We don't want to lose the original lands of the people we're trying to restore to glory.
That's also why I've already been saying, like, a lot even too, like, I understand white people's plight right now. I'll be honest, because like, as I believe I was saying yesterday's stream, like, everybody can be tribalistic except for white people. Like, white people are the only group of people that are not allowed to be tribalistic. And it is also true that like there's no country for them to really go back to. Like, there is nowhere to escape to other than the US. And it's like, even if they go to Europe, it's like the same situation is kind of going on there. Like, a bunch of people are immigrating to Europe and they're having more children than white people. It's like white people are basically going extinct, if we're being real. Like, I'm going to be honest. And this is primarily because they're the only ones that are not allowed to be tribalistic. You know, so this is why white liberals are so fucking stupid to me. I'm like, okay, you niggas are going extinct. And if you don't want to have pride in your race, that's fine. Like, I'm not saying you even have to have pride in your race or whatever. I just understand why there is some white men, especially Nick Fuentes being the leader of this shit, who are like, the fuck? No, I like my race. I'm like, okay, cool. That's fine. Every other race does the same shit, you know? So anyway.
So I think she's doing fantastic work. And that's my personal view on it. I think she's doing fantastic work with it. And I was just surprised you disagreed on that point. That's
Yeah, well, and that's legitimate. I guess for me, you know, your point about it's funny, like that does resonate with me because I thought that way for a long time. I would look at something like that and say, oh, you know, we're doing it for the lulz. We're doing it, you know, because we're trolling Macron.
Yeah,
we're
trolling niggas,
everybody.
bro.
But what I have come to learn over the years is that a lot of the things that seem random or seem like they're based on hype, they're all coordinated. And that doesn't mean that everything...
That is true.
You know what I'm saying? That's that Groiper brain right there where you just like, hey man, no, we gotta connect the dots on this motherfucker. That's what I like about that shit, bro. Cause like it's like this perpetually paranoid all the fucking time because you be right though. When you be looking for dots to connect, you end up connecting the dots. I'm gonna be real. So I think it's actually even just generally important to be suspicious of things or to ask questions. And in fact, more importantly, to just even get into a bit of a monologue here again. You should never believe that all your beliefs are true, ever, at any point in time. Because you can never outwork bad beliefs, bro. Especially when it comes to achieving your goals in general or achieving success in your life. You can never outwork a bad belief, right? If you, for example, and I'll use one that is common in the black community, right? It's like, oh, I can't become successful because I'm black. The white man is holding me down. I'm like, okay, well, one, do you think that belief is going to make you take action to become successful anyway? No. Two, that's actually untrue because there's a lot of successful black people that exist. Understand? So it's like you can't have a belief that is so obviously untrue. Or another one could be like, oh, well, girls don't like guys that are below 6 foot. I'm like, well, do you think that belief is going to help you take action to become more attractive and arousing to women? No. Is there guys that are below 6 foot that have girlfriends or deal with a lot of hoes? Yes. Meaning that belief is wrong. But if you have that belief, it doesn't matter what you do. You can't overcome it because you believe it. You're not going to act on some shit that you don't believe. Understand? So you need to make sure that you're constantly questioning your beliefs all the time. And you actually make sure it is true when you believe something. Meaning, when you're like, I can't do this thing for so-and-so reason, you have to prove yourself wrong. You have to find a way to prove yourself wrong. You have to go look and be like, well, is there anybody else who's just like me that is doing this thing? Because if there's someone who is, then it means you're wrong. You can't have that belief. Someone has done the thing that you want to do. This also relates very closely to when I've talked about in the past, like the lion is the king of the jungle, not because it makes sense, but because he believes that he is. So naturally, he takes action that forces him to be the king. Understand? So you want to make sure you're always questioning your beliefs because you probably have 10, 20, 30 limiting beliefs right now that are preventing you from taking particular actions that you could be taking. And you just believe the shit because somebody just told you. Not because you went and actually experienced it or researched it yourself, but because some nigga just said, oh, you can't do that thing because of this reason. You're like, oh, that makes sense. And then moved on with your life. Not realizing that you just randomly gave yourself a limiter. Because as I've been saying this whole time, you can never outwork a bad belief. If you don't believe something to be true, you're not going to take action. So you have to be looking to constantly crack through and smash through bad beliefs. You have to be willing to change your beliefs constantly. You have to be willing to question your beliefs constantly. This way, you're always in a position where you're unlocking new abilities, skills, and you're able to take a lot more action as well, a lot more risk in order to accomplish your goals and just other shit in your life in general. You have to always be skeptical of shit. Because I'm telling you, if you're looking for dots to connect, you're going to connect new dots. And that's going to allow you to do new shit. And also, of course, it's going to allow you to protect yourself, right? It's going to allow you to make sure that, like, these people are forcing me to think this particular way. This is more from a political standpoint, but people are trying to force me to think a certain way. And that's actually not true. Because at least from what I've experienced, you know, growing up, like you're constantly surrounded by a lot of liberal leftist ideology all the time. Oh, there's only 2 genders or women are equal to men. Like all these things that in practice and in reality are untrue. And the only way I was able to break out of this shit and basically get red pilled about a lot of this shit was questioning it. questioning it, really testing things out, practicing, or seeing if my beliefs on these things are true. Are women really equal to men? Because in reality, they're not. Is there really more than two genders? No, there really isn't when you really look at reality. So just always be willing to question all your beliefs, bro. It protects you mentally, and it also allows you to accomplish more shit in your life. All right, keep it going.
That is absolutely true. And there are systems and there are groups and there are piles of money being thrown around. You're absolutely right about that. I want to make it clear. You're completely correct.
Yeah, so that's where and I'm not saying, and I said it on Bradley Martin, as far as Candace is concerned, I said everything I say about the Brigitte Macron thing is speculative. You know, is it a Russian operation? I said that is a theory. That's like a working postulate that I haven't really even researched, but just that's sort of where my gut says. And we just do need to be mindful. As I grow older, I see these kinds of memes, trends, and it's easy when you're 18 and you have no orientation of politics. You kind of like, you know, when you're a kid, you don't know how this stuff works. And for me,
It's true though. Like you really don't. I mean, I could already even tell, like when I was like 15, 16, I was conservative. Like I could already, because like, and I think when I realized it was like during the whole, like, well, not during the whole, it was more like with the abortion argument. Because that was like something that was coming up in my mind during like, that's even like around 15, 16 is when I realized that, you know, people actually saw the world completely different than me. You know, I remember my English teacher used to, you know, all the time ask us like these moral questions. Like he would just one class period, he'd be like, all right, just answer these moral questions that don't really have a right answer in a way or whatever, or just to make us argue and watch us argue. I think he was almost sadistic in that way. He was kind of looking at us like, look at these niggas arguing over this moral shit. And I think one of the questions was like, do you think there's a universal evil? And like everybody's, you know, raising their hands, answering, giving their own answers on why there is universal evil, why there isn't. I was saying that, well, there isn't really a universal evil just because we have different belief systems. Like we all, like some of us are Christian, some of us are Muslim, some of us are Jewish, some of us like have different belief systems. And naturally these different belief systems have their own moralities, meaning certain in Islam, certain things are right that Judaism would see as wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there isn't really a universal evil because everybody has different definitions of evil. But niggas were like disagreeing with that. And they were like, no, there is a universal evil. I'm like, nigga, how? Like you literally, based off your religion, you follow a completely different set of rules than this nigga over here. So what's right for him could be wrong for you, and what's wrong for you could be right for him. So it's like, the fuck? So I think in that moment, that's when I started realizing like, oh shit, people see the world differently. I think that was kind of cool. I don't know why I felt like the need to share that shit, but it's just like, I'm like, damn, that's like when my mind started realizing like, damn, niggas be seeing the world completely different than me. So anyway.
As a young edgelord, I was a young shit poster troll, and you'd see the bigger accounts in the group chats pushing a meme, a certain narrative, something, and you say, oh, I like this poster. I like Gavin McInnes. I like this guy, that guy, whatever. What they're pushing is funny. And I'm just using him as an example of a big poster. Yeah. And you go, yeah, we're going to join in on this. And as I get older, I realize a lot of that stuff is backed by money. It's coordinated. It is like, it's a domain of warfare. It's information warfare. And that's why,
you know, like back in the day, at least in high school, you know, or if you're even currently in high school watching this shit, so shout out to you. But like, if you ever took a government class, like you would learn about political cartoons, or like political cartoons used to like be a primary way to push propaganda, because cartoons are just like easy to understand. They're supposed to be easy to understand. They're visual. So like you'd watch a political cartoon and it kind of like push you in a different direction or to see things in a certain way. I think liberals do this shit a lot. Like they love doing this shit. Like they'll always like, anyway, let me just give you guys a literal example. Like while we're here, let me just give you an example. Because the thing is, anyway, political. Let me see. So shit like, I don't know, I'll use this as an example. Oh yeah, no, this one's funny as shit. This because since I was speaking about immigration yesterday, this is actually perfect for me to show you niggas, bro. This one right here. This one right here. I never imagined Independence Day this way. You see all the fucking flags in this motherfucker, bro. And on God, what the hell going on? But this is like an example of what I'm talking about, how like memes and cartoons will be this way, because when you're seeing this, like it makes you think of what? You're like, yeah, if it's Independence Day, why are we almost celebrating every other country? It's like when we celebrate Independence Day for what? For the United States, for America, not for Mexico or Ukraine or England. It's for us. You know what I'm saying? So it's just funny. And that's kind of how memes do work. I'd actually agree with what they're saying here. It's like there's an agenda behind it. There's an agenda behind this meme or this cartoon. It's easy to understand and it makes you feel a feeling or an emotion. So anyway, and this ain't even really propaganda. This is just fucking true. Like, nigga, what's going on? You know, you guys already know how I feel about immigration and why it actually fucks everybody up and literally ruins everything for everybody, including the people who immigrate here. Because it's like these niggas escaped here, want to act the same way they were acting in the previous country, and then America will become like the shithole country they just left. And they're like, well, I was in a shithole and I left and came to a shithole now. It's like stupid. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's keep it going. Keep it going.
I scrutinize it a lot more and I'm very careful. I fully believe that Candace believes what she's saying. I actually don't doubt her sincerity. I just think that whole narrative, maybe someone gave it to her. It might be a possibility. And even to the extent that it exists in Russia, it's either kookery or it is being picked up by an intelligence agency for some reason, because it's very strange and conspicuous, the whole thing. So especially this, like, this idea that the West is like satanic pedophile elite. I don't doubt that there's something like that going on.
More than likely with the Epstein list, like for sure, there definitely is. Niggas are definitely getting blackmailed by Israel. Like, let's just keep it a stack. But
you look at like Spirit Cooking and the Podestas and Pizzagate. I also think that sometimes foreign intelligence leans into narratives like that to sow discontent or dissonance inside of our society. And it's our job to discern those things. It doesn't mean that every narrative like that is fake. It doesn't mean, and not every narrative like that is true. It's up to us to discern. And so as far as the Brigitte thing is concerned, I think Candace is sincere. I don't find it very compelling. And I think at the minimum, it is being picked up by Russia on some level because Russia is adversaries with France. To impress nothing else, I'm
just going to skip through again a little bit because I'm not really fully familiar with the situation. So I'm listening a little bit too, but it's just like, you know what I'm saying?
My followers, it's all warfare. It's all ongoing, open.
Because at this point, they're more like going in a circle here. Like Tate saying, I agree with you. And then Nick saying, I agree with you. This is my perspective. Tate saying like, oh, I agree with you, but this is my perspective. So, you know what I'm saying?
One against
basically, it's like the point is they agree.
Or even in the information space.
No, you made some very important points. And I'll make a quick personal story. Even when I was accused of human trafficking and locked up and all this bullshit, the American right never really disliked me in any regard. They all defended me. Even Ben Shapiro said that Andrew is correct about the things he says, but he has some of the wrong solutions, but he's by and large correct about the problems with society. The whole American right supported me. When I first got out of jail, there was nobody on the American right who disliked me until October 8th, when I told Piers Morgan that Israel was conducting a genocide. And then the entire American right turned on me instantly, saying that I'm a degenerate because I have sex with more than one girl and that I'm a terrible person.
Man, you know what I'm saying? Just goes to show how occupied niggas are, bro.
Him and all these things. These were accounts that were defending me the day before. And that was organized inside of Telegram groups that I've had access to, and they were paid money to.
And I think that's something that, even though this is kind of like a side pulled away from even what he just said, speaking of having sex with multiple girls, one thing that's ridiculously important and always is going to reign true when it comes to game and women and shit like that is that you should always be talking to multiple women at the same time. You should be talking to as many women as possible at any one time. I'm talking about during eras of your life where you can afford to do that, right? I've already talked about a lot, especially on my YouTube channel, about how you're going to have seasons or eras of your life, right? When you're a young man, when you're in your 20s, your entire 20s should be about working and improving and getting smarter, stronger, faster, and as capable as possible. That's where all your time and attention should go, because it's from gaining those abilities that women are even attracted to you and aroused by you. You know, dealing with women really right now is honestly a waste of time, right? Or you should barely deal with them. Like if we took a year, let's say there's 12 months out of the year, you take 2 months in which you fuck around with girls a little bit just to make sure you're gaining experience, learning game, and of course, understanding the type of girl you'd want to deal with in the long term anyway. understand? But even during this 2-month period, let's say you have this 2-month period where you're dealing with them, you should be dealing with as many girls as possible. Why? It helps you avoid having scarcity, because the unfortunate reality for a lot of dudes is that they think, oh, I just need to talk to 1 or 2 girls and I'll be all right. But these hoes, entitlement is through the roof right now. The amount of attention they get from guys is through the roof right now. If you think you're going to be able to fuck around and talk to just 1 or 2 girls at one time and you're going to be all right, you're in for a rude fucking awakening, because she's talking to like 15 dudes or like 20 dudes all at the same time and chilling. So do you think she's going to have any issue with flaking on your dumb ass, not texting your dumb ass, not following up on the date or any text or anything like that? No, she's not. Like, she's just going to flake on you at any point. So the only way that you as a man can combat that shit is through volume. You need to be talking to as many girls as possible. So you got girl number 1 over here or Stacy over here fucking up, you go talk to fucking Haley. If Haley's fucking up, you go talk to Shaniqua. If Shaniqua fucking up, you go talk to fucking Lucy, whoever it is. You know what I'm saying? So like, you're always in this position where you never feel scarcity, because if one girl over here is fucking up or flaking or whatever, you talk to this girl, you know? And I could go like more deeper into the shit, but the overall thing I want you guys to understand is that the only way you can protect yourself from having anxiety or scarcity is to be spinning as many places as possible, be talking to as many girls as possible. This puts you in a power position mentally, you know, because you probably already experienced before, and I have 100% experience before, where I was like, oh, I'm just only talking to 1 or 2 girls at one time. But the thing with doing that is, like, if both these girls are on some bullshit or whatever, now I'm like in this position where, like, damn, bro, just meet hard, can't really do shit. You know what I'm saying? So you need to put yourself in this position where you're spinning as many places as possible during these small periods in which you're dealing with chicks out of your year. Small periods. Your primary focus and attention should be on becoming as capable, as smart, as rich, as influential as possible. Right? 80 to 95% of your year should be that shit. But you only spend like 1 or 2 months, you know, being able to get experience with women, practicing game, and like I was just been saying this entire time, spinning as many places as possible. Right? This way you have a lot of abundance in your mind, so you never make moves, especially when you're dealing with any of these chicks, you never make moves that are compromising, because a lot of dudes compromise their character or their frame out of desperation. Don't be like that. The way that you counter that is through talking to as many girls as possible. It's a quick side note thing there, but it's just important for you guys to understand, you know, because I do want you guys dealing with chicks. I want it to be very limited in as small periods of time as possible, because if especially you're in your 20s right now, or even in your teens, it should all be about grinding and improving. But I still want you guys to deal with them so you don't reach your 30s or whatever and you don't understand women at all, and then you marry a dumbass hoe and then you lose half your shit. Like, not worth it. You need actually female experience now. This is not like how the conservatives wanted back then, where these women, you know what I'm saying, you meet your wife at 18 and it's all good, you don't need to know female nature. Nope, you need to know that shit now, or you're gonna get cooked. So let's keep it going.
All instantly slander me and turn on me. So you're completely correct. You're also completely correct in saying this is being picked up by Russian intelligence. Yeah, it was. I was fighting in China when the George Floyd riots were going on. And before my fight, I was watching the Chinese news. And the Chinese news was saying that, once again, America...
This nigga was fighting in 2020? Damn. I guess he must have retired. He must have retired during 2021 or 2022.
...is in turmoil as all of its unhappy citizens riot against their oppressors. The black people hate the white people, and everybody hates the government equally, and everybody's dying. Did China instigate the George Floyd riots? I don't know. Or perhaps they just saw some division and jumped on it, because that's what foreign intel agencies do. I don't think Russia...
2020 was truly a wild time. That riot shit was wild. I remember I was like watching Instagram lives with them like burning down whatever the capital of whatever the fuck it is. Watching them burn that shit down. I was like, damn, them niggas wildin'. I was like, damn, them niggas going crazy, bro. What the fuck going on? That shit was wild, bro. But anyway, wild time in history.
Told Candace to do it. And I know you lightly alluded to a theory that somehow her and I were getting paid by Russia or something. I can tell you from personal experience, that's absolutely not the case. So yeah, they jumped on it, but I don't think that takes away any of the validity of what she's doing. You're right in saying that absolutely everything is run by the intel agencies. That is correct. We're in a permanent and endless state of never-ending war. And America and Europe...
Especially because, like, since niggas are not really in a rush to ever fight physically, because we already know at this point with the level of weaponry that everybody has, like, millions of niggas are going to die. So it becomes a lot more of a game of intelligence to battle each other, like understanding your enemy to as deep a level as possible and pushing narratives or ideas that would cause turmoil in your enemy country. Like that's kind of what the game is now.
As a whole, their only chance of competing against China is to ally, especially China and Russia now that they're so close. So I do believe that there has to be some degree in the European continent, some degree of interest. And I just think that perhaps, once again, I'm talking about feels and my instant thoughts when I saw your takedown of the Brigitte series. I just thought, is that really genuine from Nick, or is that an attack? And once again, this is a personal decision. This is me speaking from my personality. I wasn't the one who was attacked by them like you were, but I have been attacked by a lot of people who I still currently talk to, work with, or promote because I think it's better for the larger fight. So I agree with everything you're saying. I understand exactly where you're coming from. I think we're better as a team if we can all manage to work together. I also think there's a degree of
basically niggas agree.
Hollywood and arguments and fighting. All these things are very interesting to the Anon who never has to put his face anywhere. You're never based enough for the Anon account who has nothing to risk and nothing to lose. And these
bam, actually just made me think of another thing that I was even thinking about. I actually posted this on Threads earlier too, but the only reason why your life is a man, and it's like you're like thinking like, damn, how did it switch to this? But point is, the only reason why your life as a man is not entertaining is because you don't train and you take no risks. Think about like shows that you watch, right? And the main character of said show. The reason why you're interested in the show or the story is why? Because the main character continues to make progress and continues to take risks indefinitely. Because if the main character is not continuing to make progress or is not continuing to take risks, his story is no longer interesting. It's no longer entertaining. You don't want to pay attention anymore. It's like, why is this nigga just sitting on his couch all day, playing video games, watching TV, just eating junk food? Like, why isn't he doing anything? Why isn't he improving? Why isn't he risking anything? Why isn't he talking to anyone? Why isn't he doing these things? Almost like I'm describing your dumbass watching this. Like if you're just sitting there and doing nothing, the reason why you're more entertained in everybody else's life instead of your own is because you're not training and you're not taking any risks. The excitement that you want out of your life, especially as a man, comes from risk, comes from training, comes from progress, seeing yourself develop, seeing yourself improve, seeing yourself make that move that you're scared to make, but you know could benefit you. That's where excitement in life as a man comes from. So if you're sitting there right now and you're not really doing shit, you're not taking any risks and you're not training at all, your life will be forever unentertaining. And all your energy will get sucked away to the guys who are living entertaining lives, to the guys who are taking risks, to the guys that are training and improving and making a lot of progress, you know, getting smarter, getting faster, getting stronger, becoming more capable. All your energy gets sucked away just watching them do it. You know, it's not worth it. It's not fun. You know, I've created the FAM because a lot of guys don't even realize how capable they actually fucking are if they just train, if they just do things. I say all the time that everything is a skill. There's nothing you can see anyone do that you can't also do as long as you're willing to put time and effort into it. You know, a lot of niggas will talk about talent all the fucking time. And I'm like, nigga, as long as you can see somebody doing a behavior, if you're willing to train, you can gain that behavior too. Talent only gives you a slight boost, especially for you as a young man. Like right now as a young guy, you might be so obsessed with like, I'm not talented or whatever. But like talent only gives niggas a big kind of boost at the beginning only. But you can outwork that talent because the thing about talented people is that they often don't work hard. Why? Because they've relied on their talent. And that's kind of the nerf that they get when you're talented. It's very rare for a talented person to also work ridiculously hard. So more often than not, people who work ridiculously hard beat a lot of talented people because they're willing to train and improve and get better. And that's fundamentally what's exciting. That's what makes life fun, right? The stress of taking risks and improving all the time is what makes life fun. Life is boring if you're just sitting here doing nothing. You're not taking any risks or doing anything. Like, why would you expect to have a fun life or to have it be fulfilling or have it be entertaining? Of course, you're going to look for entertainment outside of yourself. You're not doing anything. There's nothing exciting about what you are doing. And I urge all of you guys, I urge the fam to do whatever it takes to make their lives as entertaining and exciting as possible. And the way that you do that is through taking risks and training. Whatever goals you're pursuing right now, whatever ambitions you have, working towards those goals, training to improve your capabilities to achieve those goals, and taking risks on the path to achieving said goals will make your life more entertaining than any story or show you could ever watch. I'm telling you right now. And one of the biggest things for me that I'll share personally is that, at least for me growing up, I've loved anime for so long. My favorite anime is Naruto, right? And whenever I was watching these shows or watching anime, right, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Bleach, whatever, in my mind, it wasn't that I just liked what I was watching. I was thinking like, no, I want my life to be like that. And those types of animes like Naruto, Bleach, Dragon Ball Z, that's the constant frame or the basis is just taking a shit ton of risks and getting stronger. As each arc passes, as the story moves forward, the main character is always doing what? Naruto is always getting stronger, both mentally and physically. Goku's always getting stronger, both mentally and physically. Right? So I'm like, oh, I want to live my life exactly that way. And as I've grown, to the ripe age of 24, like that's how I see my life now. It's like anime is of course still cool. I still watch that shit, but like I'm like, okay, I'm doing that shit now. Like what's lit is that I'm doing that shit now. So I want you guys to kind of grow to that level too and get to that point where it's like, all this shit that I be watching, I just be doing that shit. So I'm lit already. It's cool to watch it, but I be doing this shit too. It's like, damn, I watched that shit. Now I'm gonna go do that shit too in my real life. I'm gonna go take risks and I'm gonna go train. So yeah, man, just your life only becomes entertaining if you're willing to train and take risks. That's where the entertainment comes from. To the point that you don't need to watch any other stories because your life is the story that is entertaining you. So, all right, let's keep it going.
People are trying to instigate the endless wars and they like that we all argue because for them it's entertaining. And it's also great for them to come and write on my posts or Ian Carroll's posts or anyone's posts and say, you mentioned the Jews 99 times, but you didn't mention them 100 times, so you're a Jew. It's like, okay, well, you have nothing to lose, and you also, nobody listens to you, and nothing you say actually matters.
Which is true.
And if you're going to be up here like you are, you understand very well the importance of nuance. You understand very well the importance of picking your battles. You understand very well the importance of being funny. The only reason you're not in jail is because you're funny. And the only reason I'm not in jail is because I'm funny. And a lot of these people who want to say the same things we say can't be funny. And humor is a shield. And a lot of people don't understand that. They're not smart enough to discern that we get away with doing what we do because we're funny with it. And there's a whole lot of things happening. And my point by and large for the Groypers is I believe in the movement. I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic if we all work together. I just highlighted that I didn't think it was genuine when you attacked the Brigitte thing, but you defended yourself and I accept it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been a minute. No, so I was fixing a lot of the stuff behind the scenes. The lag is gone. Apologize for that. And I know you guys wanted to talk this stuff out, so I just wanted to make sure, let y'all get, the Groyper stuff, Candace, Tucker. I know that's like
smooth
pressing stuff. But do you guys want to hit anything else before I go into the questions or whatever? Or
no, I think we we sort of resolved.
Basically, these niggas agree. Like, basically, these niggas agree about the same shit. It's just like, it's almost like personal preference in the way of moving, but it's like these niggas agree about the same shit. So, cool. I mean, as long as niggas are on the same side, I mean, even to me, at least my own personal perspective on this, at least that's what I've been saying through these few streams is like, I just like when these niggas are together. I think it's cool, If I'm going to be honest, this is the most genuine shit on the internet. If I'm going to be real, this is the most genuine shit. Like, I trust all three of these guys a lot. The way that they've moved for years, especially. I'm like, oh, yeah, these niggas are real niggas. These are some real niggas right here. I'm fucking with this shit, So shout out to them for real. It's just like, this is real shit. I enjoy this shit because, I already talked about yesterday how the internet is very fake. But these guys, because they've taken bullets and done time for the shit that they've said, I'm like, yeah, these are real niggas who say real shit. And I trust them, And that's fun. It's like, you want to be around niggas who you can trust. Like, it's so comfortable compared to just random niggas you'll see on the internet. You don't know what they really got going on. So, you're always keeping your head on the swivel. As I said, anybody can switch up. Anybody can change, of course. But for the most part, at least to me, they've earned their trust. So, yeah, it's just cool to see all these niggas on the same side, have the same have the same enemies, against the feminism, Jewish supremacy in the United States, Israel being an issue, like, it's nice. It's great, So, yeah, man.
The main stuff so far. So yeah, let's dive in.
Yeah. So basically I got a couple questions here, and I think it'll be interesting because, we can sit here and talk about certain topics and stuff like that, but I think these questions will give people a better insight as to, your guys' mindset on some things. So what I'll do is I got these questions. I'll answer it first to give you guys time to, come up with your own things because some of them are pretty thought-provoking. So I'll kind of keep it simple. So the first one I was going to ask was, looking back, what book, person, or event red-pilled you, right? And how did that change the trajectory of your content or public persona?
All right, so first, I actually want to answer this, even though I don't have a huge public persona yet or shit like that. Just because I was thinking about it even earlier today. I was like, okay, what are all the things that red pilled me on these things? Like, okay, I would say, so first I'll just say women. So for women, in terms of what has red pilled me on just women in general, I would say it goes all the way back to AMS. So this is alpha male strategies. Let me see if I can find it on YouTube. Show you guys. I'll show you how I see the world, or what has allowed me to develop my vision of the world, or the way that the world works and shit like that. So let me first show you guys. He should be up still on YouTube, man. Hold on, my bad for that, y'all. Alpha male strategies, man. Real ass nigga. Anyway, because I want to show you guys. So first here, this was one of the first guys that got me hip to like female nature and understanding how women operate. This was probably all the way back in 2019, like late 2019, or maybe like around fall, winter time 2019. This is what I really started realizing, you know what? Yeah, because like I think during that time, at least, like my stats in terms of like dealing with women were already great, like being charismatic, being able to talk to them. You know, I've always been a pretty extroverted social guy my entire life. So like I never had an issue with that. It was like the understanding their mind and how they respond to certain things that I do is the issue. You know what I'm saying? Like getting rid of a lot of that simp type behavior, because I'm just like, especially in high school, I was like more moving like that. I'm like, oh yeah, pedestalizing women and shit like that. You know, always talking to them, wanting to talk to them all the time, and like pedestalize, like complimenting them and shit. Like, you know, that kind of nonsense. You know, the basic simp archetype. I would just had, but the social side of it was good. Like I could talk to girls. I had friends that were girls. I were dealing with girls, but it's like it was more of that understanding that simp shit, you know, was the problem. So then, you know, I found AMS, and as I said, late 2019, and then from there I'm like, yo, these hoes are not what I thought they were. And then I just went down the rabbit hole. I went through the whole entire manosphere from basically lifting off from AMS. So I've seen FedEx, I've seen Myron. I learned a lot from Rolo Tomasi. Like that basically is what allowed me to learn so much shit and basically learn everything I know now about like female nature and shit like that. So that's how I got red pilled on women, at least. When it comes to the J pill, that was Myron. Like that was just Myron is the one who got me hip to all of that shit. Basically, that was around. That was January. That was literally at the beginning of this new year, or even before that. Actually, I would say November of last year is what really started getting me hip to shit. You know, this is when he was really, because the election was coming up, so he was really talking about Israel and all this other kind of shit. I'm like, oh, the Jews really do be controlling shit. Like APAC over here, they control all the media and the food. What the fuck going on? So that's kind of what J-pilled me and like got me hit to Israel and the shit going on kind of there. But yeah, so from a female standpoint, that was just AMS, and then the entire manosphere a little bit. Like I was kind of bouncing around everywhere listening to all these guys, and that's what taught me a lot about women and female nature. And then from an Israel side of things, it would be a lot of Myron. And then during that period, I also learned about Nick Fuentes, and then I saw a lot more information about Israel and how the Jews actually really do control our government to a lot. So that's kind of how like I learned about all this shit. So well, those are the two things that I would say like those are the two big red pills, generally speaking, when it comes to women and then like Jews. That's how I learned all that shit.
So for me, the thing that red pilled me, and I kind of broke it down into categories. What red pilled me on women was reading The Mystery Method and a book called Conquer Your Campus when I was like graduating from high school, getting ready to go to college. Like that's what red pilled me on women, figuring out this, you know, this whole thing about how important.
Yes, because like in 2019, I was a freshman in college. So we basically learned around the same age. We learned about women. It's funny.
A social status is to them and how they're looking for a small percentage of men. That's like when I found out about like the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle, right? What red pilled me on the Jews was 9/11 and JFK, right? No matter how you slice and dice it, there was absolutely Israeli fingerprints all over 9/11.
Me was like, I guess, okay. And as I was just saying, the fact thing that really made me get cooked was the whole APAC thing. Like that APAC thing, I'm like, yo, we cooked, bruh. Literally, our government officials are getting directly paid by a foreign lobbying group. I'm like, no wonder we do so much shit for them. Like we're literally controlled. our literal government is controlled. Like at that point, I was like, oh yeah, these niggas, yeah, we're cooked. So that was the main thing.
11, all over the JFK assassination, especially when you look at the nuclear weapon component, which is almost never mentioned in mainstream American media. Hell, even the movie JFK by Oliver Stone did everything in their power to omit the nuclear weapons angle. And then you find out that the movie was funded by a guy named Arnold Milchan, who was literally Israeli intelligence from the unacknowledged nuclear program. So like they had an incentive to keep that information from Americans. And this stuff has been like suppressed for a while. So that definitely red pilled me when it came to that. And then when it comes to money, real estate, usury, and basically central banking is what red pilled me on money.
Oh, that's actually a good one too. What red pilled me on money? What I would say red pilled me on money was definitely Alex Hormozy and Brandon Carter. Those were the two big ones. I'll just show you them too, so you guys can check them out if you want to. But Alex more from a like overall being an entrepreneur, what it takes to be an entrepreneur kind of side of things. He actually even just, I'm reading actually one of his books right now, $100 million money model. So you guys can check that shit out too. But he's definitely red pilled me a lot. And it's not even just like money too, like money, entrepreneurship, and just life in general. Like Alex, bro, like that nigga is clean, bro. So definitely shout out to bro. But like, so here's Alex. This is who red pilled me on like money. I watched a lot of his content, bro. Like I think I've seen almost every single one of his videos he's ever made. I'm pretty sure I've seen every single one of his videos he's ever made. So yeah, but like he red pilled me so much on money and how money operates, how value works, because value is just money. Like he taught me a lot of shit. And then the other guy who did it, kind of even before him, who actually introduced me to Alex, actually was that boy big Brandon Carter. He's actually a friend of Myron too. So, and I think he's met Alex too, because that's even how I found out about. Hey, my bad, y'all. Yeah, my bad for that. My bad for that shit, yo. I was fucking loud as hell, bro. All right. And then Brandon too. That's big Brandon Carter, man. So he actually red pilled me a lot on money, and just specifically in understanding why it's so important to your life. Like I think he said one time that money matters more than anything else because it literally controls all your decisions. Like what you will and will not do is often determined by how big your bank account is or isn't. I was like, yo, that's so facts. And then like that's just what made me wake up to like, oh no, money is ridiculously important. It's super important. It's like the most important thing. If you're not doing things to eventually make money or make money right now, you're fucking up, especially as a man, because that's honestly what you're judged on anyway. So anyway, that's kind of like these, I would say Alex and Brandon, they red pilled me a lot when it comes to money and just finances in general, like understanding value and shit like that. Like they taught me a crazy amount. So that's who red pilled me on money. All right, let's keep going. We'll keep going for probably another about 4 minutes. I want to hear, at least we'll let Myron finish his answer to the question he gave, and then we'll see the rest tomorrow. But yeah, let me get this shit back up for y'all. All right.
So I'll turn it to you guys. I mean, if you want to break it down in categories, you can. But those are the things that I would say red pilled me on those 3 topics.
Andrew, you want to go in and
yeah, go first? Isn't that how it works?
Yeah. So the question is basically,
I'm at the back of the bus.
Looking back, what book, person, or event red pilled you, right, and changed the way that you would make content, or change the trajectory of how you would make content for the rest of your life? What was the red pill on women, just so to speak, or the red pill on finance, or whatever it may be? But either one of you guys could take it.
I'll run it then. I'll go. Should I go?
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, a lot of my views come from personal experience. I wouldn't say they were a book as such. I wouldn't say it was a movie I watched that red pilled me.
For me, it's just like I actually like listening to people. I think the best way that I've always learned is just from listening. And I think a benefit that has come from that, I'm not saying that books aren't good too, but for me personally, the reason why I prefer listening to someone rather than like reading a book per se is because when you like listen to someone, it's like it's real time, and it's raw experience, because I talk about if you want real skill, you need real experience all the time. So I want to hear from somebody doing something while they're doing it. So I know that, okay, this is legit. This is valid because this is happening in real time. Or whenever they've made content or made videos, this is how they were in real time. This is what was going on in their life real time. It's super real. Not saying that books can't also be like this. There's definitely a lot of great books out there, but it's just more like sometimes books tend to fall into the theory category too much, where like I'm theorizing this is how this is supposed to work or whatever, rather than having lived through it. I like niggas who have lived through shit, and I also recommend a lot for you guys to always get your advice or listen to guys who have done the shit that you want to do, because when someone has done the shit that they want to do, that you want to do, they know how to apply lessons. And because they know how to apply lessons, they can directly breathe those lessons into you. They can breathe those beliefs into you, and I think that's just ridiculously important. So at least I just prefer from listening. I just prefer to learn from listening. Like that's how I prefer it. But you niggas can have your own style. But generally speaking, anyway, from an advice perspective, it should always be guys who have achieved the level of success that you want to achieve, because they can directly breathe the beliefs and perspectives you need to succeed. So anyway, I'm gonna let him keep going here.
I would say that, Nick is definitely the figurehead of the movement against Jewish influence. And I think that I am and was the figurehead of the movement against feminism.
True.
And a lot of people have now come along and said that women are the foot soldiers of the Jewish influence. And perhaps that's true. But every single problem I saw with society led back to one place. And that doesn't mean they're bad people. It doesn't mean women are inherently evil. It means that societies have always been productive and functioned a certain way with a patriarchy. And it allowed us to fend off foreign invaders and reproduce and have children and be in life.
That's all the key. I mean, anyway, that's even. I know I'm pausing him a lot here, but he just keeps saying things that I'm fucking with. It's just like masculine men has always been the key. Every single problem is just there's not enough masculine men. Men don't have enough control anymore. That's always what the issue is. That's why I'm creating the FAM. That's why we have the FAM. I want you guys out there to become as capable as possible and become as successful as possible. When you are strong, it allows you to be more masculine. It allows you to be in control. When you're weak, it doesn't. And we have too many weak men now. So like we need more men to be very accomplished and reach the peak of their masculinity so things get better. If we don't have men doing anything, that's where all the problems are always going to lie. So
and it allowed men to feel like they had a stake in society worth fighting for.
Mm-hmm.
Men used to paint a beautiful girl on the side of a Spitfire and go die. Like we did all of this for women, not because we hated women. We didn't oppress women. We did it for them in service to them. And it turns out they've been massively ungrateful for that. And nearly any problem you can name, I can tie back to one thing. And it comes down to girls chasing Instagram likes instead of children. And
that's literally what it is, bro. I'll be honest. Like we gave these bitches way too much freedom, bro.
Not listening to men.
That was the mistake. That was literally the mistake. It's funny. Every bad thing, we gave these bitches too much freedom. We allowed them to vote. Cooked. Like just cooked, man.
So I kind of came to this conclusion myself. And by and large, I had this mentality for a very long time. And I didn't really blow up on the internet until COVID, when I decided to really fight back against the systems in the matrix, because COVID was complete insanity. And I was living in Sweden at the time in absolute freedom, by the way, with no mask, no vaccine, completely normal society, while the rest of the world were locked in their houses.
I don't actually know the whole full backstory on the whole COVID situation. That was kind of like, even during that time, I was not like concerned about broader implications of things, or I wasn't really thinking about politics. I was just way more focused on my own personal goals and what was going on in my personal life at the time. Like I wasn't thinking at a higher level at that point or looking very broad. So I was like, was COVID fake? Was COVID real? Like, I don't know, to be honest. I really don't know. I haven't researched the situation. It's kind of one of those things where like it's done and dusted. I will never get cooked like that again. I will never be misinformed when a big situation like that is happening again. So that's all I have to say about COVID. I'm like, was it real? Was it fake? Was the vaccine good or bad or whatever? I'm like, nigga, I don't know. I'll be honest. I didn't look at the research. I didn't know research, whatever. I hadn't seen. A lot of the guys I fuck with say it was dumb, but I haven't personally seen it. And that's also an important note to make for you guys. You shouldn't just blindly listen to anyone. You should go through your own personal experience and do your own research while, of course, listening to guys that you respect. Because this then makes what they're saying even more true. It's almost like it keeps yourself and the guys that you choose to listen to accountable as possible. So even anyway, we'll actually stop right there. I think that's even a good place to stop. We'll continue this. I like how actually Myron asked this question because it's going to allow them to monologue and talk about things that I know I'm going to be able to touch on. So, last but not least, we're going to shout out the socials and we'll get the fuck out of here, man. And we'll be back tomorrow at some time. But you're going to get a stream tomorrow. I don't know what time yet, but you're going to get one. So just be looking forward to that shit. All right, first, just take this down here. Let's get this up for you guys and just cook it up. Cook it up. Count it up. Count it up. Count it. Count it up. Anyway, first and foremost, check out your boy on YouTube. Appreciate y'all boys if you're watching me on YouTube, of course. And if you're just randomly watching and you're not subscribed, then you're fucking stupid. Subscribe, my nigga. We got to grow the fam. You know what I'm saying? Always for young, ambitious men, as always. You know what I'm saying? So check out your boy on here. Success vids every single day on this motherfucker. Trying to cook super hard for you guys because I want you guys to accomplish your goals. So follow your boy on here, Ali Aragundade, right? Follow your boy. Now we're going to pop into fuck with your boy on X2 as well. Got nobody in here right now, but we're just going to hit the like on this motherfucker because you got to be your number one supporter, of course. But follow your boy on here. I'll be talking like politics and other shit that I be seeing because politics has everything that has to do with politics is pretty much on X, bro. It's the most political app in the world. So, yeah, fuck with your boy on X. Ali Argundade, same tag, same shit, same shit. Let me get y'all here, more here. Hopefully I'm not fucking lagging because I've noticed I'll be lagging when I open multiple tabs, but it's just the price I gotta pay. Also, vote with your boy on Instagram, of course. Success vids and skits on here too. Nice quotes with the anime backgrounds, as you can see. Why I was saying earlier, like anime is a big inspiration in my life. But yeah, you can see it. You can see it through the content. So vote with your boy on here, Ali Argundade, of course. And then the app that should be banned, but is always never banned for some reason because niggas can't make decisions. Fuck with your boy on TikTok, trying to grow on this motherfucker, of course. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of you young guys are on here, and I think you would benefit a lot from listening to what I have to say because I'm the realest nigga of all time, of course. So message with your boy on here. Even if you don't have TikTok, download that shit just so you can support the fam, Ali Aragundade. So with that being said, man, yeah. If you fuck with the stream, like the fucking stream on Rumble, YouTube, so more guys can also see this, of course. I can grow on Rumble, can grow on YouTube, and yeah, we just keep cooking, we keep growing the fam, and with that being said, I'll catch you boys tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what time, but I'm going to catch y'all boys. Love you, fam. Peace out.